opinions about professional wrestling, am I right?
That is correct. Do you know where we can find that?
Yes.
On Wrestling Ham.
That's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm your Riz.
And you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling, am I right?
That is correct. Do you know where we can find that?
Yes.
On Wrestling Ham.
That's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm your Riz.
And you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling, am I right?
That is correct. Do you know where we can find that?
Yes.
On Wrestling Ham.
That's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm your Riz.
And, you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training for you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. You know where we can find that?
Yes.
On Wrestling in Ham.
That's right.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast 757. I'm Mike Sorgat, Sorgatron on the social medias and the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA. It's just me, a pizza, and a couple of our friendly interns from the University of Pittsburgh. Mac and Tony in the studio, helping us out on the socials, on the social medias in the chat room and everything like that. So I hope you're joining us there on any of the platforms we're streaming live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't say that enough. Dave Podner of the iPhoneography podcast of the Podcave Regency residency, I guess.
And this being 757 means that we are a narrow body today.
Mm-hmm. What?
Well, the Boeing 757 airline.
Oh,
it was a narrow body plane. So we are narrow body today.
Oh, geez, there goes the engineer and I'm coming out again. Thanks for that. So I haven't heard enough about planes the last several days, but anyways, yeah, it's our awesome cast, and we're gonna get started with our awesome thing of the week. And Dave Potter, let's start with you.
Well, we know Apple likes to push itself as the intersection between technology and liberal arts.
Wait, really? Is that a stated goal by them?
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's going back to Steve Jobs' days.
Okay.
But we know in the past they have also been the intersection of technology and fashion.
Ooh, yes.
Going back to the iPod socks.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, explain the iPod socks for people that don't know.
That's tough. That's a toughie.
How would you explain the iPod socks?
This is back when you had the old iPod that had the actual, I believe that was the one with the actual spinning hard drive in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you wanted a way to protect it. So Apple came out with literally an iPod sock. It looked like a stocking. Mm-hmm. It was just a knitted, fabric sleeve that you would put your iPod in. And it didn't have a hook that way. And I think it was striped. Think like athletic crew socks that boys used to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they tried fashion. Oh, there we go. Yep, I bought socks.
That is the announcement on stage with Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah, and it was $29 back then, which was a lot more. Actually, no, that was the Nano, I believe.
Yeah,
so
it looks like
it was a thin, light, but it was just it was inspired by a piece of cloth. So, and then Apple came out with the Hermes bands for the Apple Watch, and today Apple has announced a sling for your iPhone. It's as they say in the press release, a beautiful way. Well, no, it's actually it's actually $150. It's not $230.
Oh, what is this one? Is this a different one?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
But no, that is it though. It's basically a 3D printed knit-like material, that you can put your iPhone in. It will expand out. There it is. It will expand out so you can see it. It comes in various colors. You can hold it various ways: crossbody, over the shoulder, put it over your purse or your man bag or your they bag, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's limited time, and apparently it's designed by the same person who designed Steve Jobs' turtlenecks.
Ooh.
But now I'll say this: I could see people copying this idea for a lot less money.
Sure. Well, even as it is, I was trying to find the old iPhone socks that we talked about before, and all I could find were like the handmade Etsy ones and things like that. So I'm like, oh, this looks nice, but it's like, oh no, this is not the official one. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's $150. It's a limited time, but you notice it has a very nice purple on there.
It does. Look at that.
Yes.
Oh, you know how to get my attention.
Actually, this is the color. These are the type of colors I want to have the iPhone Pro in. You know, yeah, you give me black, give me silver or white or whatever. I want to have the orange. Actually, kind of matches the orange for the 17.
Do you want it to match though? Because as somebody who has to deal with a lot of black plastic gear that gets difficult after times, like that is always confounding, especially in dark backstage environments. So to which I yell about it, and then which leads to awkward situations because I'm just like, why is everything black? And it just like, you can see how that could go wrong. So, but yeah, because like I've literally, like, you're talking to the person who got the Nexus tablet, like Android tablet that they had out that we fawned over like 10 years ago. I lost it on my desk. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen it for weeks, and then literally it was in the middle of my desk and I didn't know it. So that's the kind of problem I run into. Why did we get the black wood finish for everything in the office, for instance, right? So, but anyway, so maybe you don't want the orange iPhone Pro with the orange sock crossbody thing.
If you're a fan of the Denver Broncos,
there you go.
You could go with orange and blue. Because that's the color. You know, you can. There you go.
That's true accessorizing.
Coordinate. You can exactly. You can coordinate.
There you go. Okay.
But like I said, I could see people making knockoffs of this and making it cheaper.
It's gonna happen. I mean, I've never paid a full price band. This is just something I got off of Amazon, and it actually doesn't fit entirely correctly. It's smaller than like the version that I got here. So, but there's options. There's options for you. So. So that is the iPhone crossbody strap. You can pick those up for around $150, and there is a long strap design that is $230. I think that's what we pulled up at first there. Okay. So there you go. And this is your awesome thing of the week, or are you making fun of it? You're like, are you interested in one of these? Like maybe an off-brand?
No. No, honestly, I wouldn't use this because, and to be gendered, I wear men's clothing, so we have pockets.
Okay, that's true too. This is for all the women in my life that are like, I don't have. Like, you should see when Katie has, as she puts it, boy pockets when we're on Baja shoots, and she's so happy she has her like work pants. So
there is a reason why the meme of, you see a woman, feminine person, and they say, and it has pockets.
It's like, why are you excited about pockets? Like, you don't know the plight of women in pocket issues in their clothes. That's the cost of looking good, I guess. Anyways, so my awesome thing this week is I got brought back into Fortnite. And a couple of different reasons. One, there was like, I was already interested in kind of dipping back into it when I heard Game Pass was going to introduce Fortnite Crew, which apparently you can get it now if you're not on Game Pass or anything like that. It's a $12 a month subscription that just includes all the battle passes and includes like some V-Bucks and you get exclusive characters every month and things like that. Like the kind of stuff, like I never really spent much money. I don't think I spent any money on Fortnite for as long as I've been playing it, right? And I've been off. I haven't played like Fortnite. I went away, I came back, and there's like 100 games under the Fortnite app right now, and I'm just not, it was too much, and I didn't get into it. But then something happened, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll get into it, maybe I won't. Then something happened and got announced that really pushed me over the edge, let me get the latest 10 gigabyte update to my phone. I downloaded on my Xbox because now, if you haven't seen, Fortnite and The Simpsons is a thing. So I've been playing this for a few days. And also I'm discovering all these other kind of versions of games and stuff. Like I played a K-pop Demon Hunters game that was on it. Somebody made a Ninja Turtles one. It's kind of wild how much stuff is in there. So
Reactor Waste Marge.
Yeah, so there's there's one of the bonus awards is reactor waste characters, including Marge, Flanders, and the battle pass is like you can be Homer, you can be Flanders. There's a Bart Simpson in there. There's Witch Marge. So and the cool thing is the island that you're on is Springfield. It's Springfield Island. There's a lot of locations from the show in it, including the Simpsons house, including the reactor, the town square, like a lot of those things. There's a Camp Krusty in there. There's a Krusty Burger. And then as you go through, and I think they have some of these kind of mini games and a lot of the other things too, but there's like you can find characters to do tasks and missions. Wow, and if you're not familiar, like Fortnite's a battle royale game, which means like up to 100 people can drop onto the island, and it's basically elimination, and you got to try to be the last one. I did get second place in one of them the other day, by the way. I think it was in Blitz. I don't think it was I can't remember if it was a Simpsons one or not, but either way. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been cool to be in that Simpsons thing. And then also it's Fortnite. So like people have bought like crazy other characters. So you're just like on Simpsons land and they're just like, is that a Power Ranger that just shot me? You know, for instance, there's a Witch Marge. Like there's kind of these like bosses that you'll find and you can defeat them. There's comparatively, I know when I was playing a little bit of League of Legends trying to figure that out, there's these mythical creatures off in the woods that basically you go off, take them out while you're doing the task of trying to invade the other base on the board, and they give you like these kind of legendary loot drops and stuff that'll help you out because you kind of build from scratch every time you drop into these. So like you can take out Witch Marge, or Krusty was one, and I got this great balloon that let me jump high and just like, you know, snipe people while I'm jumping over their heads kind of thing, and floating kind of situation. So that's been a lot of fun. And the beautiful thing is the Game Pass is going to supposedly include Fortnite Crew as of next Tuesday, the 18th. And I believe that The Simpsons is running until the end of the month, which means, hypothetically, I'll be able to get that Game Pass as part of Crew, and whatever I build up until then, it'll unlock all of those. Because you do progression, and there's free stuff in the progression. Of a battle pass, but you don't get the characters and the really cool stuff. You'll get, here's an emblem, here's an emote, here's here's something here, some really inconsequential kind of stuff. But if you let's play you play through like for the entire month, get pretty high, and then drop your, I don't know how much passes are, $8 or $10 or something like that, right? And it'll just unlock everything based on when your experience level is. I'm on level like 6 or 7, so and then you have to get up in like the 30s or something to get like Flanders or something like that. You gotta play pretty extensively, and it's really easy because it's on my phone. And it's a full game. It's not like the Call of Duty mobile, which I also love, where it like auto fires and stuff, which you have to get used to. And I'm getting like, kind of feeling that out. So that's been really cool. Also, if you look at something like Fortnite Crew, it does include the passes for the Lego version of Fortnite, which I have not gotten into yet. I did try the festival, which is basically like Fortnite Guitar Hero, I guess. And it does include a pass for Rocket League, which I am a big fan of. Again, need to jump back into that. I bought some stuff ages ago, back when they had the Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior WWF stuff, and I got a kit and Ghostbusters car, Ecto 1. The other cool thing is when you hop into a car, you can set it up that if you have certain cars built up in Rocket League, like every time I get into a car, it turns into Kit from Knight Rider in Fortnite. So the crossover has been really interesting. So they didn't have the Ecto 1. I think it's very specific ones, like, or certain styles or things, something like that. So that was, I kind of like that. I've been poking a little bit at the fan-made stuff. Like I dropped into a Ninja Turtles one that I was in the layer, and I couldn't figure out how to start the game it was asking me to do. But then there was a portal to go to a Snoop Dogg game. So again, these are all fan made, so they're kind of bonkers. Kind of like we always talk about Roblox, where people are making games and kind of pulling them out from there. Like that's pretty much what Fortnite's become at this point. It's kind of a hey, we make the game in the ecosystem kind of thing, right? So and then it's just like so wild because I'm just like, man, if you got a kid and they download Fortnite and you really don't need any more games because there's always new stuff in there. And, you know, even if you get something like the Fortnite crew, now you're always getting the new stuff on top of things, which would be kind of nice. That kind of is, if you're really kind of on that Fortnite, you know, as a lot of the kids are and stuff, right? Like that really seems to make sense. It's cheaper than a Game Pass if you do that, if you're just a Fortnite person. But, and also the nice thing is I'll get that Game Pass, hop over there, and it works on my phone. So I'll have all that stuff unlocked on my iPhone as well. Like it just the way these are extending through, you know, I'm loving this stuff. You know, I and also a side note, I did poke at because I realized I had access to it through Game Pass a couple weeks ago. I did load up Warcraft 1 Remastered. Man, it's a nice throwback because it's like that early.
Okay.
Oh, what do you call those games? What do you call those? The building the farm, not Farmville, but you know the asset management ones like Warcraft and Starcraft and things like that.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's been a lot of fun. Kind of poke at those again. So
Now, before you go off of this, I'm looking at the screenshot of the sidekicks.
yes, that's a new feature.
Yeah, 3 of them get my attention. Lisa Simpson. Inside her goody two shoes are some very dark socks.
What?
That underneath her name, that's her little. In the Bebop article that you had in the.
Oh, that was part of that. That was part of that update that I had over there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And Mothmando Elite, which of course you know Mothman is West Virginia. So close by. And if you look at Flick Fusion, okay, a particular pro wrestler comes to mind with Flick Fusion.
A little Shotzi to you, huh? Oh,
it's got a lot of Shotzi going on.
I see you got Mo, you got Scratchy from Itchy and Scratchy. Yeah.
Constable Sprinkle. You have the right to remain tasty.
There's such goofy stuff in here. It's so great. I'm kind of loving it. I see, you know, I'm catching up with the Fortnite after a little bit of a hiatus. So, and there's a lot to catch up on. So it's kind of fun. Well, also on the video game tip, our buddy Chachi's Video Game Minute is up now.
Hey kids, welcome back to the Chachi Says Video Game Minute. Here's as much video game news I can cover in about a minute. The live-action Zelda movie has begun filming in New Zealand. More news as it comes. GTA 6 delayed again until November 2026. Rockstar said they need more time to finish and polish. Again. I recently reported that Red Dead 2 was the 5th best-selling video game of all time, and that has now changed to 4th as it passed Mario Kart 8, placing it right behind Wii Sports. I can't really see how this counts though, as they just keep giving it away on services and calling it sales. Kind of like putting Avatar back into theaters every 3 years to boost box office numbers. And lastly, the Switch 2 has already become Nintendo's best-selling console, reaching 10 million sales in just 2 quarters, which surpasses the stats for PS4 and PS5 in the same time span, with those numbers expected to just continue climbing with Christmas just around the corner, making it a great fiscal year for Nintendo. That's all I have for you this week. Thanks for watching the Chachi Says Video Game Minute. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Chach, for that video game minute. Dude, he's talking about the PlayStation 2 selling their consoles. When we were up in, we went to Niagara Falls this past weekend. We just needed a break because we both came off some pretty major client stuff and just needed to get away for a little bit. So I had a little trip, cashed in those my Hilton points for the weekend. You know, one of the benefits of all the travel we do. But we needed a snow brush because we had a new car that hasn't experienced snow yet. So, and we were north of Buffalo when everything came down this weekend, and I was astonished. Like, I always like to go to electronics just to see, like, kind of see what's up, and see what's going on in the video game world. And Nintendo's, if you go to, and I think Walmart's like this too, if you go see the Nintendo section, it's very Nintendo Switch oriented, and then they have, racks of games, and most of them are still $60 or $70, of course. You're lucky if you find one that's 40, honestly, and that's one of the reasons I don't have a Nintendo. I feel like it's too expensive for a lot of this stuff. As much as I love Mario and everything, I just don't want to pay that Mario tax personally, and I'm not invested in it. Like, I'd be starting from scratch and just feel like I need to catch up on every Zelda game, because I haven't gotten to that since the Wii, guys. So, and I was just astonished because, like, again, like, the Nintendo section looks like the Nintendo section, and then you go one shelf over, one aisle over. One side of the aisle is mostly PlayStation, and the other side is Xbox. And there's a rack of games that are just kind of like on a shelf that you can rifle through and find. And they're, not even really discounted. They're still like $40, $60 games sitting on that rack. And, there's a couple, like the new NCAA and NBA games are in a display the way they do there in Target. But then, like, Xbox, like, there was a handful of discs, but there was no display for anything. There's just absolutely zero Xbox display for physical games anymore. But there was a rack of cards, a small rack of cards, so you could purchase games, and you just purchase the digital code basically at this point, right?
Okay.
It was just a really interesting state of the industry. I know I keep seeing articles about, like, Xbox is going under, they're going to get out of the console game, but they're going to put Halo on PlayStation, so this is them breaking things down. And all these kinds of things. And of course, we're going to cloud gaming, different devices, things like that. And we'll see what the future holds for that kind of thing. But it was kind of interesting. It was like, you kind of look at it and you're just like, man, there's like no games here. But also just like, when's the last time we bought a physical game for these consoles, right? Some people still do. But, I as soon as, like, you had to install things off of a Blu-ray, I'm like, what's the point anymore? I own a couple discs. I think I purchased one disc for the Xbox One, nothing for the Series. I don't even have the disc drive for the Series S. And so, like, it's a Transformers game that you cannot get digitally because of licenses. Like, that's the only reason. I want a Marvel game I can't get anymore. I want a Batman game they're not putting. Like, thankfully, Batman games actually are put on newer consoles, but something like that, right? It was just an interesting bellwether for that kind of thing. Nintendo, I feel like. Let me put it this way. I don't trust Nintendo not to buy physical copies at this point. If I were to buy a Switch, I would probably be buying physical, because I just cannot imagine trusting their game store that's going to be there 5 years from now when I want to play this later. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Yeah, and especially since consoles are lasting longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
You're going to have a console that you can play for 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. And, it's not a matter of, oh, yeah, this is the console from 3 consoles ago. No, this is the current console, maybe not the current version. And like you said, when you buy something online, you're really just buying a license as long as the company allows you to play it.
Which is fine, and I'm okay with this world where I have a room where I have a stack of all the CDs I purchased, all the DVDs I purchased, all the physical video games I purchased, and I was like, this room does not need to be bigger. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Could you imagine all the games I played in the last decade? If I had physical copies of all of those games I played, it'd be ridiculous. I'd look like one of those guys that, like, was an insane collector, and God knows how much money I would have spent on that thing, right? On all that stuff. Like, I'm kind of okay with that kind of stuff. It also got me thinking about, because I'm looking, I'd look at good old games, GOG.com, and I'm really interested in their game preservation. I think Microsoft Xbox is really good about game preservation. It's not 100%. There's a lot of stuff I'd love to pull off of an Xbox 360, and it's really to their discretion. But I think they're really good generally about, like, hey, you bought a thing for the Xbox 360, and about 80% of what you bought is going to come over to all the way to the Series S and Series X. Like, like I got 3 generations, 4 generations if you talk about the digitalized original Xbox stuff, right? So like I there's a trust there. Good old games GOG.com is really good about, hey, let's make sure the original Resident Evil plays, you know, and we'll sell it to you again on the store. I've mentioned before about how I had the disc of the original Resident Evil Director's Cut for PC. You cannot play that on a machine, let alone as Windows 95, 98. Who knows if you'll be able to play it today anyways. But if you, at a certain point, the 3D cards, 3DFX, you know, Power VR, you know, early NVIDIA maybe at this point, you know, you had to have specific cards. You had to literally pick which one you had out of a list of 5 of them. And these are chipsets for the most part and some variations, right? And that is the only way you could play it. There's no software mode on this thing. A lot of games like Quake or Doom, like, yeah, Quake would be 3D. You got a nice card, it's going to look cool. If you don't, it'll be chunky, but it'll play. You know, it'll look like a PlayStation 1 game kind of thing. So that also got me thinking about all the games I've had for iPhone over the years. I remember Super Monkey Ball back in the day, and I know there's a new one they've re-released or something like that. But there's so many, like an old WrestleFest game, things like that. And I wish iOS had better game preservation for something like that, because we lost so many games when they went from 32-bit to 64-bit, right? And I'd love to see an effort.
And they didn't add any 32-bit emulator.
No, they did not. So they did not bother with it.
They said, hey, by the way, we're switching. If the software developer doesn't switch, we're done. But that's always been Apple, though. You know, even going back to Apple computers, they've never had the backward compatibility that Microsoft always had.
No, but also they're not heavy in games where people would be interested in doing something like that. Right. You know, I mean, you're at the whim of, you know, even PC games. You know, you talk about what GOG is doing, but then there's like some great sites that are, you know, definitely gray area legalese, but they will have what you call abandonware. Hey, Interplay is a company that's not around anymore, let's say. And there are games on there where, you know, people didn't buy the assets. I think somebody did buy like Earthworth Jim. You can get an Earthworth Jim game on several consoles on, like, you know, collections and stuff like that. You know, but, you know, something else they got that wasn't as popular. You could go and get those original files, download an emulator called DOSBox, which will emulates old Microsoft DOS that we used to play those games in, and you could play those like these days. You know, there's an option there. Like there's like, you know, we talk about, hey, I got an emulator on my phone. I don't need all the old consoles anymore, right? You know, for Nintendo and everything like that. I have them for my collection, you know, but I don't need to break that out when I want to play Super Mario 64 or something like that, which is nice. You know, I don't have to dust that off and blow on the cartridge, do that whole thing. So that, you know, I'd love to see that. And I don't know if there's much demand for that. You know, how many people are clamoring for how games were kind of like weird. Netflix put which one is it? Street Fighter 4 CE on this. And you know, it's a game that came out like 10 iPhones ago, I think, and it looks like it, you know, things like that. But, you know, just still, it just seems like there's a lot missing. There's a great old Metal Gear Solid game that was like a touch and shoot and things like that I could just kind of miss out on. Original Angry Birds, if you wanted to play that as well. There's a game, I don't even know if I can play it anymore. There was an Angry Birds Transformers crossover game that they did. Oh, never mind. It's still available. So Angry Birds is actually doing pretty good with this kind of thing. So, and again, those were purchased. Those are not freemium games like you get today with Angry Birds too. So, so that's kind of a call out there. Like, you know, where's the community? Tell me if there's one out there, you know, where, you know, I know I can download IPA files. I've tried that because there's a game that got taken off the store when THQ folded for the Wrestle. They redid WrestleFest with newer characters. And I spent some good money on that, and I'd love to be able to play that again. But, you know, and it's not like we don't have old iPhones around, you know, that we can try these things on. You know, maybe I just got to jailbreak the hell out of a couple of these older ones and, you know, and throw some stuff on there. So, I don't know, just some things that have been crossing my mind over the past week. Partner, what do you want to get in here next?
You know what? The Simpsons Lego bush.
That's just a visual one. There's not much to say
Yeah.
to it. I presume this is a Lego set out there. I literally just had the visual here of the threads that says, "Mom, stop buying kids stuff. You're 32." And then also he said, "Me, I'm buying this." It's the Homer Simpson backing into the bush meme in Lego active moving form. So,
I mean that for someone to think, think about the gears, getting everything set up, the mechanics of the whole thing. That's a really good job they did on that.
you can pick it up for $22.99. By the way, wait, is this a Chia Pet? No. Okay,
Yes,
this
it
is different.
Yes, it
All
is.
right, we're going down a Simpsons rat hole on this one. There is a Chia Pet of the bush that he hides in. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. We're going down the. Does somebody have? Somebody said they have this, and then they pointed to maybe it's this one. No, it's the Chia Pet again. Oh man, we'll
I
find
think
it.
this is just Simpson related things.
Yeah. So I think they're just looking for the bush meme. So Homer was seed pack, decorative potty planter, easy to do. I've had a couple Chia Pets I was given, never got to it. I have a Kermit that would have been cool. They gave me Kermit, and I have it. What do you call it? The Duck Hunters.
Oh,
I have one of those guys.
The Duck Dynasty guys.
One of the Duck Dynasty
Oh,
guys
you got,
with the beard.
Oh, what's his name?
I think I gave it to somebody. Is it Psy or something like that?
Psy. Yep.
Yeah.
With his iced tea cup.
I think I ended up giving to somebody who was a bigger fan. Either way, that was just a little bit of visual fun thing. Hey, did you know the airport is opening on next Tuesday?
Seriously, I mean,
The new one?
Finally, I don't want to say finally because we did have COVID.
I'm surprised this
and the
soon.
lockdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially since like I said, I went through it not too long ago, and there was still a decent amount that needed to be done.
And I'm sure it's not going to be polished completely by the time we go in there. Well, you know what? I'm still waiting for my information, but allegedly, I'm booked in Seattle next Friday. And allegedly, I'll be going through the airport here next Thursday. So again, waiting for the final details on that. But we've been. It seems like everything but the plane ticket, which I don't know what that status is with everything going on. But I'm very interested to see that. I'm glad I got the previews between you and Katie and everything. I know I didn't get a chance to get there a couple weeks ago when I was scheduled to go for a visit. But yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there. Like it was just kind of funny. I saw that in my email like yesterday. I'm just like, oh, okay. Let's go on the third day of the new terminal and figure out how I'm going to check all my gear. And all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we'll give you guys a bit of a test run, Pittsburgh Airport, on that kind of thing.
It's actually the baggage, the gear should be a lot better.
That's what I hear.
Because they actually have things kind of set up for oversized gear.
Absolutely. So I saw that the iPad Pro is celebrating 10 years. 10 years of the iPad Pro. I just knocked everything over. That's okay. It was one of those old phones we were talking about. 10 years of the iPad Pro.
Wow.
That means the newest iPad that I have in my possession is 10 years old, guys. Shows you how much I've been using them. Yeah, this is the big one, from those days. And just let's get this out of the case. It's probably going to be a terrible idea here for demonstration. But,
But you know what? It also tells you how overbuilt and overprocessed the fact that you have a 10-year-old item that still works.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not doing anything high level on it. You know what I mean? Like, I just have it up here. We throw up. It does not update to the most recent iOS. I'll give you where we're at on it software-wise. We're at 16.7. What was the last one before we went to 26?
What was it? Oh, I forget. 17?
I think we're on. Yeah, that
17 or
seems
18?
right. That seems right. So I'm still
18.
getting.
It was 18.
I'm still getting
it was
security
18.
updates though, from the looks of things though.
So that's
So
and honestly, if you wanted to use it for, like I said, even photo editing, I'm sure it would work. I wouldn't, maybe basic video editing, it would still work.
128, like you're not going to throw Final Cut or anything on this, so
No.
but this is what we are running. I haven't had it hooked up because we actually have had a cord issues with it for a while, but it's got that old it's got our soundboard on it. There you go. So we could do it this way. But also, like, regardless, typically the best last thing you can do on an iPad is watch video on it. That seems to be usually the last thing that goes when it comes to that. And as long as it gets a good connection and can carry like a Netflix app or a YouTube or something, you're pretty good to go. A lot of things on here ran pretty well for a while. I would not probably pull up a lot of the newer games or anything on it. But it's a 128, so I had a lot of room versus this other one over here is a 32 gigabit. So I'm always deleting apps to try to get it to work for a lot of things. And we use it for things like we have an alternate software called Mix Effect where we can bring up, it doesn't work with this new one because I don't know if we got updated or what. But we were able to pull up like the switchers software on here and do things with that. Or we use it as an ND monitor. I can pull this guy up and like, again, just picking a couple tasks, it's actually picking audio up too, apparently. So, and this is something that we throw over there when we do other productions in here and want to throw the, over the network, the video feed that's going on as just a studio monitor to see what's up. And be able to see like, hey, I'm moving this camera over here, the switcher's over here, let's bring the video over back to the side of the room kind of thing, and round trip, that kind of thing. And just like a little bit of social media here and there on it too. So, and just random apps that install when I install it on my iPhone, apparently, because I see 3 apps that I just installed this past weekend while I was traveling. But there's that.
And that's a setting you can make on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you have an iOS device.
Absolutely. And this was a daily use one, so it has that kind of it has that that kind of user defaults are still on it. So because also this was tremendous for reading comic books on, honestly. So with Hoopla or I think I have a comic book app that has a bunch of stuff I download off a Humble Bundle. So and I don't know if that app is around anymore. Comic Zeal was the application that we had. And unable to install, no longer available in the App Store. Well, we're not doing that anymore. So, again,
that is part of the problem with older stuff. Yeah, a lot of times, well, one thing that I actually used was the Apple Clips app for occasional, like, simple video editing, and Apple's pulled that.
And that's like, I hate getting into anything like that anymore because it just seems like everything deprecates so quickly. It just. They're nice in the moment, but it's hard to get back into them. Hey Dave, just take the rest of the show because I just started loading up Crazy Taxi. So I might have to step away for a moment here. See. There you go.
It's actually,
it's loading. No. It's Crazy Taxi City Rush. It's the mobile version of Crazy. Well, it's the mobile redo of Crazy Taxi. Oh, we'll see. I'm on a blank screen loading. Here's what I don't know if this game's still active, honestly. I'm amazed it let me download it, but I don't think this may not be an active game.
No.
Oh no, I gotta add
friends.
It wants me to add my friends. Oh, they'll love that. Okay, no notifications. Okay, oh, there we go. Oh yeah. Are you ready for this? I can connect to Facebook. I'm playing in offline mode.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna put this away. That's enough of that. Enough live demo for this week. But yeah, so it's been 10 years, and of course, The Verge. I feel like The Verge is just angry at everything these days. The iPad Pro at 10, a decade of unrealized potential. And I think it's a lot of the, hey, you're trying to make this an iPad into a MacBook, and then you never really cross the rest of it kind of situation. This is where they really started pushing the, hey, get a keyboard with this, use the Apple Pencil with this thing. That's the Apple Pencil, which means the Apple Pencil is about 10 years old as well, right? So, and here's the dongle that shows everything plugged into it to make it work, that they have part of this. And of course, newer versions of iPad OS have been getting a little more PC like with mouse support and
Yeah.
everything like that too, which this one actually did too. I think I could Bluetooth a mouse to it and it worked pretty okay. So, or it was working for a time before we got out moded, basically. That I could bring my mouse over like I do between my Macs into it,
Okay, yeah.
and then like do stuff there too. So that's kind of nice. I'm curious if that still works. I also don't have the newest Mac OS yet, so that might happen soon. I might throw that on my laptop here in the near future. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. Did you have an iPad Pro? Did you play with these? You know, and there was a regular
yeah.
size too. This is the big one.
Yeah. We had an iPad Pro, and we never really used the full power, to be honest. It was just one of those things of trying to buy a little bit over to have a little bit more time before it, got old and out of date. Unfortunately, we had issues that were dog and cat related. Where they bumped into things and things fell, and we needed a new one. So we don't have it anymore. But honestly, we never used the full. I even tried using the LiDAR on the back. Like, just use that and you can get 3D models and it can look at your room, and that never quite worked as well as it should have.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it depends on what you're looking to do with. Technology writers are a lot of times out of touch with the average person.
Like I said, but I think generally, because I keep seeing clips from The Verge, and they do a lot of like they're doing a lot of political content too, because the political stuff kind of intersects with the technology so much these days, and they just seem everybody just seems so done with everything. But that's hey, it works. Hey, let's talk about something cool that did happen this past week. I wanted to bring this up. We talked about we were going to go stream after the show last week, Robotics and AI Discovery Day down at the David Lawrence Convention Center. We did go down and had a chance to set up with the production crew out there. I think it was 3RE, I think the company name was, that did the main stage setup, that whole like kind of presentation, setup kind of stuff, big screen stuff and everything like that. So we got to set up with them and take their stream, kick it out, got it on YouTube. So there's a wonderful 6 hour and 40-minute video on the Pittsburgh Robotics Network of the presentations for the day. Mostly their panel discussions and things like that. But we were helping with one particular company that was there called SKA Robotics, not Scott Robotics. I asked. So they were doing something cool. We were set up on the roof of the David Lawrence Convention Center, and they had this drone that was set up to, I'll show you guys if you're on video with us. So we were doing a separate YouTube stream on the roof that was then being sent down to the main production area while our friend Spencer from SKA Robotics was presenting the live demo. This is a live feed via another YouTube stream that's going to this thing, going on the screen, and out to a second YouTube stream for everybody to see publicly. And what they're doing, what you're seeing here, this is actually their desktop, and I put a little logo across them that they give us. So they are taking a drone out amongst our wonderful bridges over near the stadium. And they're rigged for corrosion and rust detection, basically, right? And that's what we were demonstrating here. So, and it's also like the drone is was kind of a non-issue. It's just a regular camera, jib camera on a drone, as anybody would get. But the cool thing they were doing in software was they were using AI to detect that. And it was not terribly amazing all the time, but they trained this on only 300 images, which is a low data set if you know how AI works, or from what we're doing here. It was funny because we actually tested this the day before, and I thought that and you see these like green splotches that are maybe popping up here with us on video. That is it detecting the corrosion that's there. This actually looked a lot better the day before when we did the test run. They couldn't get close to a lot of stuff because the wind was starting to pick up at this point, and it got worse through the day. We were actually supposed to do more. And then if you see here, there's a map on the right. Those are hotspots forming as it's discovering the corrosion. So, and it's a visual inspection, of course, right? And you've been under some of these bridges where, you know, you look up, you see a lot of that kind of rust and everything going on there. So, so that was something that was executed. That was really cool to coordinate with these guys. There's a boy that's out there. Actually, if you get to convention center, you look straight out, you'll see this big, you know, bluish green, you know, water boy out there. And we get a really good one. You see, it's kind of getting a little bit here on this rust in the middle of it. The trees pick up because they're all brown from the leaves changing and everything like that. You see a giant hot spot that's formed from when we were going over, I believe that's the Andy Warhol Bridge now. So, and we went to the, but generally it was really cool that we got to connect that and make it work. And it was a lot of discussion over the last month to make this kind of work with, you know, with everybody involved and work with their teams and everything. So that was really cool to work with SK Robotics. And also generally, like, it was, there were, let me throw some pictures up here from this. I wish I had more time to just go play because a little bit I did. One, I think you guys saw, and maybe I mentioned it last week, but one of the University of Pittsburgh had their Formula car from Formula Electric that we are familiar with because we did the competition and live streamed that as well. So, and they were right by where we were set up for the main stage production too. Carnegie Mellon was there, CCAC was there, several other schools were there, West Virginia was there, University was there with their robotics programs and things like that, and other things they were demonstrating. A lot of companies were there. There were like robots that were like moving pallets. There were, you know, robots that are doing one thing or another. You know, a lot of really cool stuff. There was like a walking around robot that like fist bumped a child that we got to see. You know, like, it was really cool to see a lot of those. Just a little bit I got to walk around with this, you know, kind of in the middle and the and later in the day with stuff. So, you know, just for an example, here's actually the robot. I think this belonged to Carnegie Mellon. And if this video plays here, you'll see, you know, it's one of those, I think we've seen that with the, you know, no face, they put a big Steelers sticker on it, of course, and it's walking up to a child and saying hi and everything like that. But this was the interesting thing. You know, and the kid's gonna we get a fist bump.
The person in the background kind of telling the kid.
Yep. And it's waving at them, and look at the eyes. Do you see the webcam? That's how it's doing the visual interpretation. That is a Logitech, looks like a C920 that I have on my laptop. That's the one that I recommended everybody doing work like we're doing right now to get a half decent webcam, because it was like a 1080 HD webcam, and we didn't have a lot of those at the time. You'd pay $20 and get the really grainy one, right? So I thought that was great that that's what they use for that visual situation. And if you're curious, this is a little bit of what it looked like on the roof for our setup too. Work with the guys beside us, and actually she's guiding. She has a VR helmet on, and it is actually helping her as she moves her head. The gimbal camera on the drone moves, so she was actually kind of being the video operator at this point too. And I think it sounded like she was kind of new to it because she wasn't there for the test the day before or anything like that. So yeah, we were pretty set for it, keeping an eye on everything down below, and there's a little bit of extra stuff there too. Yeah, there's a little bit where Missy was set up as well. So very cool. They filled the entire main floor of the convention center with stuff. They had a STEM area for the kids. You know, there's definitely full school buses of kids that were in there. You know, we got to, you know, our wireless technology that we use over at the formula for the Michigan Speedway. We used that to send the signal to another screen that was set up so they could see the main stage from the other room, because they did have some dividers up for it. So that was really cool. That you saw that for a moment, a little bit of that setup too. So very cool kind of thing. And definitely looking forward to do it again, and it's cool that we're doing. I think this may be the second year they've done this. I think they did one a year ago. From the looks of things, I saw some information on it when I was doing some research on it. So and can't beat. It was a little chilly, but you can't beat the view. hanging out on the roof all day of the convention center. We had a big tent. They have a big event tent that's been up there for a little bit too. So I know it was there from Techo. So I'm glad to see it was still up for this. So really, really cool. So thank you everybody at the Pittsburgh Robotics Network that brought us in to help out with something like that. It was a really cool experience, and looking to I got an earmark for next year, and looking forward to maybe doing that again. So. Let me see if there's anything else in here I wanted to mention.
Well, let me just say
Go
also
ahead.
that there's so many bridges, and not just in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh has an awful lot, and other structures where you need to have it, a visual inspection every so often. And having something where you can have one person go out, do a quick inspection, and say, okay, we looked at these 10 items, these 10 bridges, these 10 overpasses, whatever, and here's the top 4 that seem to have the most trouble.
That you should
Because
be
there's
addressing.
never enough inspectors or time or anything else to actually have everyone, to actually have full inspectors go out. Basically they use a crane to go underneath, so they have to shut down the roadway. It's a lot of work, a lot of expense. And
Yeah.
The resources aren't there to do all that. And you can use something like this. This is where AI is useful in terms of prioritizing, giving you a first run. And also, since it's taking pictures, it isn't just AI doing something and spitting out results. You can actually see the raw data, so you can have someone look at the pictures and go, okay, this is something AI pointed here. Yeah, that's an issue. Or, okay, that's rust there, but that rust, based on my experience, that's low priority, but this one over here is a higher priority. So this is what we're going to focus on. Here's our priority of the structures we need to do.
So, and this
So
is an
that could be
experiment.
a major help.
I mentioned there's only 300 pictures that they trained on that, which is a really low end data set. This was like a 10% project or 15% project or whatever you call it, right? Like, this is a spare time project they were working on. So, they have like I saw the highlight video we had on Loop, and they do some industrial kind of robotics application, as you can see on their website too. So, so that's the one I got to, and actually even that little bit of that corrosion detection is in that video as well. So really cool to see those guys in action and work with a really cool team from what we got to experience there last week. Real quick, I want a couple of disclaimers here, a couple of heads up things. Apparently New York state law just went into effect that you need to disclose algorithm pricing. And apparently, and this is one I picked up off The Verge, DoorDash begrudgingly made a tweet about it. So New York law requires to make the following disclosure: because we use information such as your delivery address to calculate distance and fees, and your past orders and favorite stores to provide personalized promotions and or discounts. This price was set by an algorithm using your personal data. So that is the idea that, I don't know if that's based on like, what do you call it? Surge pricing or something like that? Or is it generally like a demographic kind of thing? I think we've seen that. We know your airline tickets are different based on, let's say, what device you log in on, right? I think we've had stories about that in the past, or if you're logged in or not, or if you're on a Mac versus a PC is a demographic, marker. If you pay for a Mac, you probably have money spent more on your flight, kind of the idea. So those kinds of things are going to be very interesting. So hey, get your VPN and see if you and go to New York State and see if your favorite website has a pop-up right now about this. So and of course if they're putting up
I'm sorry, I like the fact that because look, in the fight of mega corporations versus government, very rarely are there really good guys on both ends.
Right.
But I want to know what you're using. And don't give me a 50-page little text written in legalese that I can't understand. I'm not going to take the time to do. Say, oh, by the way, we're going to use your location, and like I said, location, distance, and everything else to determine how much we're going to charge you.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah,
and I think it's
and that's,
if companies aren't going to do it, that's where government has to step in.
I think what you're going to see now is New York State I have a vibe from recent news that, much like California does a lot of stuff that, they're pushing technology, with certain laws. Then, and as California goes, if you have to apply to California, that's a big chunk, and you're pretty much going to apply for everybody in America, right? I think New York State is going to be the other bellwether for this too, because not only does obviously this is a state law, so you see where they're focused for these kinds of things. Also, the former chairperson of the, I believe is the FCC. FCC? No, FTC, isn't it? Lena Khan.
Federal Trade.
Yes. She was in there during the Biden administration. Obviously, got let go when things turned over. But she was. What did they say? She was in I saw an interview clip where she was apparently liked by both the advocates and the business side at the same time, which is crazy considering. But she just got picked up as part of the, I think, transition team for the new mayor of New York City. So again, second biggest city in the country, correct? I think LA is bigger technically, right? I could be wrong. Either way, big deal, right?
Honestly, yeah. If you want to really get into craziness, look at how different places determine what a city is in population for
That's true too. So, but either way,
it is bonkers.
But the point is, she's in one of the biggest cities, a part of it, and this is a city that already does some consumer protections. I think there was like a soda ban for a while, things like that. I think straws. That's one of the places where you can't get a straw or a plastic bag. That's where that kind of stuff starts. That we see trickle down to, like, Pittsburgh is now a no bag, pay for the bag kind of thing, right? All of Canada is this way, little things like that. So I think you're going to see some interesting stuff coming out of New York because they're concentrated on this kind of stuff. If the federal government isn't going to do it, the states are. Some of the states are, and that's going to drive the conversation for everybody else, honestly. So keep an eye on this kind of stuff and see if anything comes out of this now that this law is in effect, that you're going to learn something about a service that you currently use that you didn't know about. So, VPN that, go to New York, see what happens. Also a follow-up, I said I was going to dog food a little bit of the ChatGPT agent browser. I am now taking that out of default because, man, you're going backwards. Little things like I can't right-click on a bookmark folder and open the entire folder in tabs or anything like that, which I'm used to in every other browser. But also, I discovered today, I believe that the browser, while based on Chromium, so is Edge, by the way. Edge doesn't seem to have this problem. But I think I was getting some Google Chrome, which is terrible on the Mac. It's a memory hog, terrible thing. I think ChatGPT's browser is has the same complaint. Because it was getting a little crazy when you run out of RAM, the thing pops up and you're like, why do you have 11 gigs? I'm not doing that much with you right now. So that is not going to be, I want to keep it on hand for experimentations and things like that. But I don't really think it did a lot more that I was using that I couldn't do on our other browsers. So interesting experiment. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I think I'm going back to Firefox. So on top of, generally, as we've seen with other browsers that incorporate, like, say, Claude, I think is one of them, Perplexity browsers, like I know there's a few of them out there. Generally a bad idea to do things like maybe you're banking on browsers like this that's potentially going to suck everything up into an AI and do whatever with it. Yeah. Yes, it's supposed to be sectioned off for you, but do you trust these companies given the lawsuits we're seeing currently, right? With a lot of them. So, tread lightly with them, experiment with them, maybe do your most important work with them. So there's that. But just want to give a little follow-up on there. It's just in case anybody's curious kind of how that's been working out for me so far. So either way, Dave Potter, good for you to join me this week. Back again. The trade deadline had passed, and they traded you back off the Wrestling Mayhem show.
Yeah, apparently I wasn't mayhem-y enough.
No. Well, you get another chance at it during Mayhem Mania.
That is true.
Awesome.
And thanks for having me on.
Yes, good to be back, and we'll probably be back at full force next week. We'll see. I don't know. Schedules are weird. Things happen on Tuesdays, apparently. So we'll be back there, guys. Thank you. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcast place. We have clips all over social media. If you see those, it's something you like from the show, please share those, comment on those. If it's a little more focused conversation that we have there, and if you have any conversation part of this hashtag AC757 on the social medias, we here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we're playing with things with the chat. So it would be great to see more live people in here. So I know we do get a few every once in a while. So, but and a lot of people catch us after the fact. But looking to build it up. And thank you, everybody. Oh my God, I didn't do Patreon. Wow. Thank you, everybody, that supports us on Patreon, patreon.com/AwesomeCast, including Brian Crawford, Cynthia Klosky, Dave Podner, and the amazing John DeGore, I believe, is on there, too. So I think I remembered everybody off the top of my head. Thank you, everybody, supporting us. We got Patreon coming up. We'll talk about something. I have no plans. There's a couch shot. We'll see you guys next week. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at Sorgatron.